guys, how you all going? I thought after I did the podcast on my own at the end of last year that would be the only one I do like that. But as chance would have it, I'm back house sitting in the same place I was when I did that video, and I thought I'll just record another one and talk about what's going on, or what has been going on in 2014. And yeah, again, whether I upload this or not, who knows, but I'd say I probably will. And that's an interesting thing in itself, is that a lot of this year's been about ego disillusion for myself, but putting up a video like this where it's me just talking about me and my experiences and other things that have been going on as well, does feel very egoistic. I understand that, like, to me even. So there's something I need to just grapple with, I suppose, and just know things I talk about, I guess, come from my heart and the truth. And what I'll talk about is with a lot of sincerity and a lot of love. It's been a really big year. It really has, and it's been different to what I was expecting, and it's given me big lessons on expectations as well, because there's no real point in having expectations. So the podcast I did last year was about my experiences in Peru with ayahuasca, and I shot that podcast, or recorded it, maybe 3 weeks after, and I knew there was going to be a lot of lessons involved in 2014, and it's definitely what happened. And it feels a bit surreal now, just me sitting here and just having a bit of a think back, but how it's all gone down. But I guess I'll start off in January. Kate, who I mentioned in the first podcast, who I met in Peru and is from London, she came over to Perth. Her, for anyone watching this who'd seen that first podcast I did, I sort of made it sound like there was something romantic going on between us, but it's not. She was originally from Perth, grew up here, went to school here, and then moved overseas when she was in her 20s. But just an amazing woman, just really incredible. She's just very much like a sister to me, and I love her dearly. She came over to Perth, and we only had a couple of days together. She was quite busy doing other family things, but these couple of days we did a ceremony together with a few other close friends, and spent some time the next day at South Beach, went for a swim and went to the Raw Food Cafe. It was really good just to be able to show her a side of Perth that she didn't see before, and it's something that now really resonates with her. So that was fantastic. Work was just very difficult over the summer. Last summer I really didn't like work at all. I just every day just really struggled with it. I was still very physically, just not that I was weak, but still strong enough to be able to work, but just it took all my mental ability just to really get through each day, and it was just really tough, and which has been interesting, because this summer I've come into it, I'm the healthiest I've ever been, and just physically just feel so good. And this summer I've really been enjoying work again. It's been really great. I think just coming off the back of Peru, where it was quite grueling and very physically tough, especially when I got back home. This summer feels a lot better. So I got through that, and started uni in March, and this year at uni, I've just really, it's been really tough. I've been thinking, I was thinking about it the other day, I've never, I'm 34 now, and for about 33, my teenage and adult life, I've always been very focused, and when I apply myself to something, I really apply. I'm really just, focused is the right way. I'm really good at just being able to focus and get the task sorted out. But this year, I've like, because I've been, really somewhere else. I've been somewhere else, and not of this world. And to try and like maintain a semblance of like control even in this physical world has been quite difficult to do. And I know that's probably been the big thing. I've just been letting go of control. Like, I think I was quite controlling in that material world, in this realm, for a long period of time, and it didn't always bode well for me, or it prevented me from moving forward. And so this year I spent on the other side of that ledger. I spent really more on the ethereal, the spiritual, and I've never had so much focus there now. Like, even now, I'm feeling more and more focused. But I know 2015 for me is going to be is going to really be an important year in bringing the balance, bringing the two together. And if I can achieve that, then I'm just really excited for what I could possibly do in the future if I can meld the two. So uni just really struggled. Just, because I had this whole thing of what's the point of all this? Like, why am I coming to this institution and learning based on a framework designed by a human being who I might necessarily agree with their point of view, and all this was coming up, and I was doing more ceremonies, and then I got through the first semester, just got through, and then I was off to Europe for a few weeks. So we finished at the end of June, and actually I've got to say before, of course, probably the most profound thing that's happened to me in my life, really, and certainly this year. And it's one of the big reasons I want to finally talk about this and record it, because I know the person I'm going to talk about is much more comfortable with it now. But she is a friend of mine who I met last year, and she's quite a remarkable woman. And we first met in about August last year. She was living not in Perth at that time, and then we met up maybe 3 or 4 times afterwards when she was over in Perth, and a bit of communication on Facebook. And in March it was one night, and I was just at my coffee table just typing away. We're just messaging each other over Facebook, and she just said, "Oh, someone's coming to me, Adrian." I was like, "Oh, okay." And she said, "Oh, he feels a little bit yucky. He's got bad breath." I was like, "Okay." And I know it clicked that it must be a spirit. And it's not that I'm very open-minded, always have been, but I'm definitely one of these need to see it to believe it type people. Like, the whole idea of mediums and things like that was never something that I really believed that strongly. Always, of course, open to it, but I was never proved it. But this night I got proved it. My friend put me in contact with my granddad, who's my mum's dad, who died before I was born. My mum was about 20, 18 maybe, and just perfectly described how he died, the whole family dynamic of his children, my mum, my family, described aspects of my childhood, how my bedroom looked when I was growing up. This is all through my friend, and it was a very, very emotional event, and it really was a catalyst to the bond in our friendship, and really personally gave me a different understanding of the whole concept of the universe. Like, my whole concept of the universe, even after doing the most hallucinogenic medicine in the world several times and seeing some pretty incredible things, this was way more profound than that. And because it touched me it was like on a real deep level. This is my granddad, who I've never contacted before, and we had a conversation for about an hour afterwards. Like, I've never been in any physical contact, and yeah, and it really proved to me something about my friend. And yeah, I'm gonna name her. I'll give her a name so it makes it easy for me to say it rather than keep saying my friend. Penelope. Penelope is a good name for her. So yeah, that happened. Got through uni, and then it was my last exam for the first semester, and it was a lunchtime exam. This is at the beginning of June. And this was the beginning of a crazy 2 months for me. It really was. Exam finished. Met some friends at the Queen's for a Bloody Mary, and just a congratulatory drink. For finishing the semester. Finished that, had some lunch, and then I drove straight down to Denmark in WA. It's a town in Western Australia down the south coast, and just feeling really good. Just fuck, uni's finished. Thank fuck. I feel so relieved, and I was going to go down to Denmark to stay with a couple of girls that I'd met previously. I was like, maybe the week before or 2 weeks before in Fremantle, and which was a whole nother series and a catalyst for a whole nother series of events, which I'll explain later on. But went down there, and first moment going to Denmark, I got caught speeding. I was doing like 17 kilometers over the limit or whatever, so I was like, oh, bloody hell, universe, I thought you're supposed to be giving me happy good vibes right now, but that was alright. So anyway, ended up getting to my friend's place and just had an amazing weekend with them, her and her housemate, and just very loving. I just felt like, they've got this great house. It's overlooking the ocean and, forest everywhere, and just spent 3 days with, two amazing women, and it was just what I needed. I felt like I was being nurtured. Like, really felt like I was being nurtured and really looked after. And then after that, some friends that I went to Blazing Swan with. Oh, that was the other big thing that happened. Went to Blazing Swan, which is the WA, Western Australian version of Burning Man from the States. It was the first one this year. It was the inaugural one, and went to that in April, I think it was, and just had the most amazing time and just met the most amazing people. It was it was bliss. It was heaven on earth for 3 days. It was just an incredible experience. And so a lot of those people I was with, we just, a lot of them I had never met before, but we all just bonded and we became really close friends in a short period of time. And so yeah, after I finished in Denmark, two of those live in like a cottage village type area down south of Margaret River. So they had a winter solstice thing, and we all went down there. It was about 30 of us, and we brought in the winter solstice, and we had like a steam hut, and we were doing the steam room thing, and it was just really cool, just amazing, just awesome food, awesome people, awesome music. Lots of love. There was just lots of love in that room, and for that weekend, and so I had like these 5 days now in a row where I was just like feeling loved up, and just this real strong feminine energy as well in both places I was in. Very strong women. And then when I was in Denmark, I got talking to Penelope again on the phone, and something, all of us had just started going through a bit of a tough time. I'm sure, I don't think there's much of a problem if I use my male friends' names. I don't think no matter, forgive me guys if you do, but I think you'd be okay with it. But Ross, Kelvin and Daniel, we're brothers. Like, the four of us, we're just really soul brothers. And there was some tension and friction that had started developing, mostly from me. A lot of it was the beginning of the year. I was just really battling my ego. My ego was just, it wasn't overline, but it was running at a high RPM, and and a lot of it was because of Peru. I got back from Peru and I'm like, I just couldn't believe what I just went through and what I experienced, and the people that I met and all the people in my life now, and I just got this ego thing about it, and I knew, and I was aware of it, and I knew what was going on, but it was really tough at times to pull myself out of it and get centered when I was in those moments, because it was just so strong, and it was just, I just had to, like, it was like a war of attrition. I just had to get through it, and I knew while it was happening, there was going to be moments where I did piss off those close to me, and I definitely did. But it's not to say that I was totally blamed for everything. To blame for everything, I understand I'm not. I know it doesn't work that way, but I certainly could have made better choices in a few of the things I did this year. Again, not that I regret my choices, because I don't regret anything I do, but in future I would have made different choices and handle myself differently around different people. So, you know, I want to thank Daniel, Calvin and Ross for just your love and the support, you know, and the bond that we have. It really does help all four of us, and whichever direction we go in the future, it really doesn't matter. You know, we've made our pact, our bond, or what have you. So we'll always be there for each other in each other's lives, no matter where we are. So thank you very much, guys. So then I was on the phone to Penelope. She was going through just a tough time, and I said, okay. She was getting ready to sell a house, and this is in another city in Australia, and I said, okay, listen, I'm coming over. I'll fly over and help you get your house ready to sell. So that's what I did. Bought a ticket that same day, and then it must have been, so after I got back from the winter solstice down in Margaret River, it was a couple of days after that, I flew out to Brisbane and spent a few days out there. It was in Brisbane. And then I've just thanked the males in my life. There's of course a lot of others. Net King, Travis, fucking love you, brother. There's so many. Neil, Daniel. My brain's not really working quite right at the moment, but yeah, anyone I've forgotten, my apologies. Teddy, what others that come to me, I'll just bring them up as I come along. But also the women, and the women in my life have really put up with a lot for me, because I think like I've been single for a few years now, and you know I still date, and you know I've still got, you know, do all that sort of stuff, but I just haven't been in a committed long-term relationship for a few years, but I'm very fortunate. I do have very close female friends, and so I guess given that I don't have a partner to go through and explain what I'm feeling and how I'm responding emotionally to certain situations and certain things going on in my life, my close female friends usually cop the brunt of it, especially if it's a time where I'm really struggling with something, I'm really trying to work something out. So I think I might keep them nameless. I don't think they'd mind, but I just feel like I should. But to every one of my sisters, you know who you are. I just love you so very, very much, and I've said it multiple times, but please be patient with me. I'll get there, but I just need a bit more time. But I really feel like I'm getting towards the end of it now, and your support has just been immeasurable, and I love you very much. So thank you. I went over to Brisbane, and it was just insane from the moment. So Penelope, every time her and I come together, or whether it's with Daniel, Calvin, Ross, or whatever, we just have these massive shifts, like just all these experiences come up. and got into Brisbane. Penelope had to work that night. I thought I'm feeling really good and just got off the flight. And I thought, I'll go for a run, and had a good smoke beforehand, feeling really quite good. And as I was running along at one part, I might have been maybe 3 or 4 kilometres into it. I was running around, got to this part where I was running around this football oval, and my brother Neil came to me quite strongly while I was running. I was like, oh. And he'd said something to me in Peru about when you're under the medicine and a negative entity comes to you, not we're talking about not accepting things from it, gifts from it, etc. But later on he said to me, yeah, but do you know what, Adrian, sometimes it's not bad to go for a walk with it and see what it has to say. And I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, definitely, like, why not? And for about 5 seconds as I was running around, I connected myself to a negative energy, but as Neil, like I was Neil, and I had my arm around it, and I was just getting to know it. And after 5 seconds, I was like, oh, fuck, I had to shake it off. But at that very moment, I got a complete understanding of Neil and who Neil is, and why there was a bit of, I felt, it was only more my thing, I think. I felt tension towards Neil when I first was in Peru. Like, first couple of days, I was really indifferent towards him. I don't know why. I do know why, but at the time I didn't understand why. I think on the third day I just went up to him and I said, Neil, I think you're here to test me, mate. And he said, oh, what do you think that is? And I said, I don't know. I'm gonna have to, I'll have to find out. And 3 or 4 days later, he asked me again. I was like, I still don't know, mate. I know it's something within me. I don't know what it is. And by the end of the 10 days there, him and I become quite close and really bonded. But I would never, after I left Peru, I didn't think what that would mean would be what it meant. Like, why I felt indifferent towards him, or why I felt like he was my test, would be to turn out I felt indifferent because he was showing me who I am through him, and it was like I didn't want to accept it. When I was there in the jungle, like I could sense it, but I could feel it subconsciously, but I didn't want to accept that this is the type of person I am, this is the type of man I am. And not to say that Neil and I are the same, we're different, but there's definitely similarities, and the path that we're walking on now does have its similarities. So he showed me that, and that's when I was running and I became him for that few seconds. That's when I fully understood him, and I understood myself as well. Like it was like a bolt of lightning just come down and just went bang, and this understanding came in. So it was, it was very educational. The next part of the story, I need to then also go back. So seriously, so much has happened this year. I'm trying my best to remember it all properly and put it in chronological order, but I don't think it's going to work out. Back in maybe March, April, when Penelope was over, what really bonded our friendship was, I guess she came over and she was going through a tough time here, and she rang me. She was on the train to visit Ross one night. She rang me, all this stuff's going on. I said, okay, listen, I'm coming down to Ross's as well. And that's what I did, and we got talking, and we spoke a lot about Kate as well, who was the shaman from Peru that I went with, the shaman from London. And Penelope was quite open about her life experiences and what had happened to her, and it gave me a real understanding of her. I think it was that same trip she was over here. I was doing yoga one Sunday morning, and during the Vipassana at the end where you meditate, it just came to me that I need to do a healing on my sister. I need to get a healing sorted out for my sister. Just came to me, I didn't really understand why. It's something that Penelope had been looking at getting into just at around that time. She just started looking at doing different things. A couple of things over the last couple of years, but this time more intently. And so called her up, and Ross and Daniel as well, and we got my sister around to Ross's place, and we did a healing on her, and it was the first time any of us had ever done anything like that, and to that extent, it was quite powerful, and especially powerful for my sister, who never experienced and who never even meditated before, and then she's got these 4 people doing this group healing on her, and Penelope was just fantastic, she was incredible. So over that period of time between then and when I went and saw her again in June, she kept developing that more and more. All of her abilities really started increasing. And I came back from that run. She rang Adrian. She rang me and said, "Adrian, I've got a friend out here at work. I'm going to bring her home. I'm going to do a healing on her." And and so we did. We did a healing on her, and I'll keep the events of that, I think, to myself, what happened with her, but it was very profound for all 3 of us in that room, and again, for me, just very educational. I learned a lot during that, and also just, holy fuck, is this actually going on as well? Just getting over that, like getting past that, and just sort of accepting it and owning it. Yep, this is happening. The next day, went and visited with he's become a brother of mine now, Tim. Hello, Tim, out there. How you going? And we wanted to do a podcast together, so SJ came down as well, and we did a podcast at his house, and it was just great. Like, he's just such a dude. Like, he's fucking great, Tim. I love you, man. We really got to the bottom of a few things that Tim has battled in the past, and because like we all have our shit. We all have our bullshit. And the next day we did the podcast, and stayed around a bit longer. He gave SJ and I a couple of amazing gifts, and then next day we went down to Byron Bay in Mullumbimby and just spent the day down there, and it was one of the most amazing days of my life. We went down early, picked Tim up, went down with Penelope and picked him, went down to Byron Bay for breakfast, and then after breakfast we just went onto the beach and smoked some dope and just enjoyed the sun and the water, and we just spent about 4 hours there just soaking it in, soaking the energy of Byron Bay. This is the first time I'd ever been there, and obviously people have spoken about it, and those who know about Byron Bay know of its reputation, but I was always a bit skeptical of it. But now I understand what people say and why they talk about Byron Bay and the way they do. It really is a magical place, it really is. So we spent some time there, and then we went to Mullumbimby, and I'm sure Tim won't mind me talking about this, and I'm going to check with him before I upload this, but and I won't go into detail again, but the 3 of us, we all did a healing and on this sort of mountaintop in Mullumbimby, and that's where we connected into source energy when that ceremony finished. We this overwhelming flood of energy of love and light and power just really just enveloped us, and it was quite an interesting thing. It took us all about half an hour to get right, and we were just operating in some really high vibration for a while after that. And it's funny how it worked out, because Kate, I'd messaged a couple of weeks before. I had this dream a little bit earlier where her and I were standing shoulder to shoulder with our arms wrapped around each other, and we just looked at each other and we nodded and we jumped off and just started flying through these canyons together. And it was a really lovely dream. Like, we're just holding each other and we're flying through the air together. And I just messaged her about it, and then she didn't get back to me for a couple of weeks, but then when she got back to me, it was while that healing was going on in Mullumbimby on the mountaintop. So on the way back, I was like, "Oh, Kate, you can't believe it." We were just channeled, like we channeled into her as well, and yeah, we ended up Skyping that night. SJ and her met each other for the first time properly. I'd spoken to them both about each other, and learned a lot about what had been happening in Kate's life and what's been going on right that present moment back in June. And yeah, it was really good just to spend an hour with her, just talking to her about what we've all experienced. Yeah, it was just a very educational trip to Brisbane. I was only there for like 4 days, but it's just an incredible 4 days. And then I flew back to Perth, and the next day I was off to Europe. So yeah, I went to Europe, and that was just took things up a notch again. It really did. It was. I feel exhausted just thinking about it now. But yeah, got in and went to Edinburgh for the first few days. Just went up there on my own and just hung out at Edinburgh, which is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to. It was incredible. Came back down to London. We all met up with the Peru Familia for dinner one night, and it was fantastic just to see everyone again. Or most people, not everyone could make it, but most people. And yeah, it was great. It was really good. And I was speaking to Kate at one point during the night, and talking to her about when I'm leaving, and because I've gone over to do a weekend retreat, 2 ceremonies over 2 nights with a tribe called the Caxinala tribe from Brazil, and I was going to go home the following Tuesday. Kate said she had a ceremony on the Friday, and she said, if you can extend your stay, then she'd love me to be in it. So I was like, I'd love to. Like, even though I'd sat with Kate a fair few times, I've never been in one of her own ceremonies, and this is too good an opportunity to pass up. So I extended my flight, and I managed to be able to do that. The whole time in London was just really spending a lot of good quality time with a lot of the people that I'd met before being in Peru in 2013, but also with the people I was in Peru with in 2013. And it was I was there for about 6 weeks altogether, and the Caxinala ceremonies were really quite extraordinary. The people there were fantastic. It would be a podcast in itself to tell you about what happened during those 2 ceremonies with the Caxinala. The synchronicities, just met some amazing people again. Nick Gabriel, who was the one who invited me, he's the one who used to be on London Real, who invited me to Peru. He was there, and him and I ended up being sat next to each other in ceremony and really strongly bond, So it was a bit surreal, but not unexpected. Neil on my other side, my brother, I was, had the opportunity to sit next to him during ceremony, which is a great honour. With Sharon and Kate, and it was just an amazing time. Those ceremonies were really a change in the direction of my use of ayahuasca. It was more about, these ceremonies became less about me and healing me. I felt like I'd got to a point where now the natural progression was into helping others and to be into service for others. So those 2 ceremonies were much more about, I've finally surrendered completely to Mother too. I've just let go of all control that I did. And in the first ceremony, I just totally surrendered to her, and we started working together. That's the only way I could describe it. Her and I really started working together to help those around us. And that's when, after that, I guess, those couple of days after that, that's when I had my first inkling or inclination that possibly I could now be in service for others. That's my next step forward, is to do that. And that was the starting point of it, was those 2 ceremonies. Stayed an extra few days so I can do the ceremony with Kate, and it was just a lovely ceremony. It was just beautiful. I just felt like the Caxinala ceremonies were quite difficult, were quite grueling, but the one with Kate was just beautiful and just very loving, and it was more about gratitude for me, that ceremony. I was just so full of gratitude the whole time, and just contemplation of my last 12 months up until that time, when I'd only drunk ayahuasca for the first time 12 months before that. And it it was good just to reflect upon what had happened. And so finished off in London after quite an incredible 2 months. Really, there's another lady, don't know if I should give her name or not. She's quite a public figure, but she's a soul sister to Kate, and I met her when I was in London, and her and I developed, I felt like a bond straight away, and since then it's increased even more so. And I'm looking at helping to organise her to come over to Perth in February next year to do some work over here. I'm pretty confident it's going to happen. So anyone watching this, I'll speak to you more about that later if the topic arises. She's quite incredible. She's been a big help to me, especially over these last few weeks. Something I really realised, I was talking to Neil on Skype the other night. We're talking about the women in our lives. A lot of the women, even though he lives in London, we share a connection with the same women. My friend Penelope subsequently went over to London and spent time with Kate and Neil and all that crew, and she's back over there again doing more training, and they've really bonded. And it feels like this tribe is coming together from this Perth, London thing. And Neil and I were talking about it, and it was like the women in our lives, Sharon, Kate, Penelope, there's another girl who's from America and been living in Spain. I'm trying to think of a name to give her. We'll say Wendy. And this other lady I was just talking about from America. They really are angels. Like, they're angels. They're like angels walking this earth, and they're doing work that angels do. They're just amazing healers, like legitimate healers. I don't know, like I wouldn't have believed it 12 months ago, put it that way. I just, what they're doing and the work they're doing and the way they're helping others through first sorting themselves, through first healing themselves. That's what makes them so powerful, is they're not trying to heal others to compensate for something that's missing or lacking within themselves, as a lot of, I don't know about a lot of healers, but certainly those charlatan type healers, even though charlatan's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Like, these women I'm talking about have really deeply worked on themselves, and many, say 4 of them have really been fast-tracked, and especially Penelope, she's had a massive fast-track, and now they're really helping other people, and they really are angels, that's the only way to describe them. I feel so blessed and so honoured, so grateful just to even be able to know them, let alone spend time with them and have this connection to them that I do. I'm very, very fortunate, man. And to each one of my sisters out there that's watching this, I just again love you very, very much, and just want to thank you for all that you've done for me. So got back to Perth, and then really struggled again with uni this semester. I cut down to 3 units from 4. And I just really, really struggled. Just trying to hold any grasp of this reality was very difficult for me as I was progressing more into, again, the spiritual, the ethereal side of things. And it got to a point maybe in September, October, I thought I was going like cray-cray. I thought I was starting to go a bit crazy. And I really delved into crazy. Like I knew I had to. Like I knew I'd be safe. Like I was being held by something, and it was like a band I had around my waist, like a rope around my waist, just to prevent me from going too far into cray-cray. But it gave me enough rope where I could venture in a little bit and look at what's going on in that world, and also my role in it, I guess, and what I'm capable of doing. So that was it was just a huge, trying to balance all semester was really quite difficult. I really struggled in this physical world this year. I felt a detachment, I really did, and there's definitely groups of friends that I've been neglecting, and I guess it's just a process though. That's the only way I can describe it. It's been difficult, but I'm not the only one to go through it. There's many out there watching this now who know exactly what I'm talking about. My brothers, Daniel, Calvin and Ross, the four of us here from Perth, those three have just had massive years. Huge shifts for all three of them. Same as Neil, my brother in London, and no doubt an honorary fifth member, the fifth Beatle. It's been, again, it's just been full on. It's been really intense. And then Penelope came back from overseas, and she was in Brisbane again for a while, and then she came and stayed with me, and she was with me for the last 3 weeks. She went back to London about a week ago, and that was just even more. That just even went on another level. Uni had finished, and we started doing these healings at my place, and got back into doing some more ayahuasca ceremonies, and again my whole relationship with the medicine just kept changing. Just more, again, service. It's just more about being in service and learning about being in service, and something I was never ever never expected. No way at all. Maybe like some part of me somewhere, I guess, but I don't know. Certainly not 18 months ago I would have thought that. And then last weekend I went to a retreat with the shaman who I first drank with, and it was in the same place that I first drank, and so that was 18 months on. And that last weekend was really about me stepping into my power as someone being in service, and really with the occurrences over the last 2 or 3 weeks, how I can go, what ability I might have or may have beyond just providing space and holding space. What I might I don't really feel like I want to talk much more about that just now, because it's something that I still need to. I'm only scratching the surface of it, I guess. I really need to spend a bit more time just with that on my own. Just really stepping up that weekend, and that's what it was really all about. And I guess proving to myself and Mother showing me just what I'm capable of, I guess. And it's really about coming into being in servitude. And there's a fair few of us right now who are doing that, being in service for our fellow human being, the animals, Mother Earth. It's like, for me, it feels like I've been given so much from the universe, by the universe, even all the good things and the bad things that have happened in my life, and what the universe has supplied me with over the last 3 or 4 years. It really now feels like feels like a responsibility, but a very just a very happy responsibility to now help others. And there's something going on, because all these people right now are stepping into their power. There's a lot, and really makes me very, very optimistic for the future. Really does. It's very optimistic. We're going to be okay. We're going to be fine. Not to say everything's going to be easy in the future, but we're going to be fine. We really are. yeah, so that's really it, I guess. It's been 12 months since the last podcast I did, my last solo podcast, and yeah, again, just lots of experiences. Oh, I went to India as well in September. That was really good. That was for university, so it wasn't so much of as a spiritual exploration as much as I was looking at architecture all day, which was really fucking good too. Yeah, it was just a good experience. Good to get away. I went through quite a lot though when I was over there. I was shedding a lot, so yeah, I was a little bit difficult to be around at times. But yeah, it was good. It was a great experience. So lots of other things have happened. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a big 2014 when I did that podcast last year. I didn't really just think that what has happened, but yeah, just feel right now. I just feel very strong, very healthy, very aware, focused on a level that I've never been focused on before. And I know it's something in the future where I need to bring more of a holistic balance to my focus. And I've got no doubt, like I said earlier, 2015 will be about how I can do that, so I can integrate both worlds. Yeah. All right. That's it. I'm going to get going now. Thank you very much to the Statera Podcast listeners out there. I know it still surprises me the fact that even one person watches them. So when I get like messages and emails, etc., with a few different people, and the Facebook group I'm loving the Facebook group. I love the comments and uploads that people put up there, the links, and yeah, I just want to thank everyone who takes the time to add to the Statera Podcast Facebook group. Yeah, it's something I find really enjoyable, and I hope everyone out there does too. And yeah, help to just bring everyone else up as well with us. It's what it's all about. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, and I'll speak to you another time. All right, bye.